Neopagan November. I love that this tag allows us to explore multiple and many views from many different people. It's fun, it's enlightening, and I enjoy hearing everybody's perspectives. I see a lot of talk on this prompt for cultural influence of cultural appropriation and such, and I'm not going to get too much into that. I want to approach this prompt with something a little different, but also not so different. And that is the discussion of religious influences among many cultures, where that's ancient paganism versus paganism now, and even neo paganism, and how religious influences all of these belief systems that we go by daily, and may play a role in our programming when we are trying to reconnect to the ancient pagan ways. I had learned this morning, actually, watching some videos, and I thought it was really interesting. It kind of blew my mind how much like Christianity or religious influence has changed mythologies and pagan mythologies throughout time into this dualistic perception and like a dominant god over all the others. And for me, I had no idea that this wasn't so for the ancient pagans. I was under the assumption through all of my research, take Odin for example, because I practice a lot of Norse stuff. He, the father of all, and has a lot of correlations to like Zeus and even Yahweh. Um, Apparently, his son isn't even Balder, which I was like, wow, because I always looked at Balder as like kind of like Jesus Christ. And I also saw like the correlations between Christianity and paganism when it came to a lot of pantheons. And now my views are changing as I'm researching more in depth. Nowadays, we look at Valkyries, for example, almost like Nordic angel or angelic like beings, where in fact they were quite demonic in appearance and quite vicious, badass entities. So, really, these gods didn't have a superior one over the other, and they all were just aspects of nature. And when I say nature, I don't only mean nature around us, but natures of us as well, humanity. Not through a good or evil perspective, but like a chaos and order. Primordial. After some reflection on this, I'm like, wow. It made me realize how much religious culture has influenced our culture, especially in the Western world, European worlds, and then how that influenced paganism then and now. And perhaps everything we see, research, and believe isn't the perception one should practice in paganism, which is kind of mind blowing, right? As someone who considers themselves gray or on the left hand path, you work very hard to deprogram all of these religious aspects and view these concepts, beings, gods, or whatever you're practicing in a non religious uh, system or way. Hope I'm explaining this right or making sense. But it would appear after more research that even in paganism and mythologies and common things that we see and are so sure of with paganism are still very much rooted in Christian ideas and philosophies. And there is still some deprogramming to do in the pagan world and beliefs, which props to myself for this. I never really viewed the gods as all good. I believe they're both, always did. And just like demons, I believe in natures of beings and don't really view them in a good or bad kind of way. However, this does influence, I think, the pagan or witch community in a lot of ways. Guess I'm just kind of reflecting on all of this and the ideas of how much we truly don't know, which leads me to believe I have some more digging and searching to do, and I think a lot of others do as well, in my opinion or perspective. It's sad to me that so many cultures, beliefs, and ideas were destroyed because of a religious influence, cultural influence. Um, and so many of what we believe, even if you're not religious, is still hardwired and programmed into us from birth. You know, women's purity culture, for example. Even if you're not religious, I still see people out there believing in this misogynistic view of female sexuality. People's concepts of what's moral or immoral is still rooted in religious programming. Forgiveness, mercy. Though I think these things all have their place and are important, we are just taught that you're to always forgive and turn the other cheek. And I mean, just these ideas and moral codes installed in us is a big influence, I feel. And I think we should analyze them and decide for ourselves what's moral. What is right and wrong? For me, if it hurts somebody else or yourself, I feel like it isn't a good thing. But if you're not harming anybody else or yourself, is it so wrong? And then even that is kind of blurred and gray because if somebody hurts you, should you retaliate? Should you turn the other cheek? See, nature is destructive and creation. And I think it reflects back on humanity as humanity reflects back on nature in the same way or aspects. We create, we destroy, we are who we are type of thing. And I think a influence that tells us we are bad from birth and need to constantly push some of these things away that is in our nature is more harmful than it is helpful. Now, don't get this confused with trying to do the right thing or, there are good teachings in religion, like a lot of the Jesus's teachings. Do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. I do believe there's good parts of it. I just don't agree with the influence of religion that has negatively impacted many cultures throughout the world and ancient cultures and ancient paganism as a whole. And I think that is probably the biggest cultural influence that we suffer with when it comes to beliefs or paganism or something our whole community has in common. And you may not agree with me, and that's okay. But I think that to truly know thyself, to truly become one with our ancient roots, and to truly know nature and the gods and these beings, we need to really analyze these things and the influences that the outer world could have on our beliefs, our philosophies, our ideas, and our perception of right and wrong and moral codes and behaviors, how we practice, what we believe, because we're always looking for answers while we're researching, trying to connect, trying to seek, and that's good. In my opinion, never stop doing that. Never stop seeking and researching into these things, because that means you're still on your way there. You're still working spiritually to connect with whatever it is that you practice. How about we look around, really study these gods or our ancestors or these belief systems and really see them for what they are? Um, get in touch with what once was before what we know today. And it's nobody's fault. We are, just as we are like products of our environment we grow up in, it's still the same. We're products of society as well. So we really can't be blamed for it, right? Outside of influences, I feel like there's so much more wisdom and life and knowledge to be obtained. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents, and I hope this made sense. I don't know.